Hello everybody, welcome back to another video on my channel. For this video, I'm going to be doing my first football video. I did two basketball videos before. I'm going to switch it up and do a football video. To start, I'm going to do my week 4 NFL game predictions. So I'm recording this after yesterday's Thursday night football game in which the Broncos beat the Jets. So I'm not going to count that for my predictions. We're going to start off with the Bengals and the Jaguars. For this game, I'm picking the Cincinnati Bengals to win. I just like the way Joe Burrow has started off his rookie season, over 800 yards, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions, and he's just been very competitive in every game. The Bengals are going to be without Geno Atkins, and plus the Jaguars are coming off a pretty embarrassing a blowout against the Miami Dolphins last Thursday night. So I just feel pretty confident that the Bengals can get this one at home and get their first win of the season. So I'm going to pick the Bengals in that game. Next game, we have the Chiefs and the Patriots, Super Bowl champs. These teams played last year and the Chiefs won, and I think they're going to win again. They're going to win again just because they're still super explosive on offense. They have the 5th ranked offense in the league, and even though Chris Jones is questionable, I still think their defense will come to play, and they're at home. The Patriots have still been super good. Bill Belichick is proving how good of a coach he is. His defense is playing really disciplined, and the offense looks really good with Cam Newton at quarterback. They know exactly what they want him to do, and he knows exactly what his role is, and they've just been clicking. But I think the Chiefs are going to get a big win here. I think it'll be close, but I think the Chiefs are going to pull out the win. Next game, we have the Buffalo Bills and the Las Vegas Raiders. Both of these teams have gotten off to good starts. The Bills are undefeated, and the Raiders, unfortunately for them, took their first loss of the season last week against the Patriots. The Bills have looked very good, mainly on offense. Josh Allen is 2nd in passing yards, and Stephon Diggs, their big offseason pickup, is 4th in receiving yards. I think the Bills are going to win, even though that the Raiders can show that they can compete, especially on the offensive end with their running game, and with Josh Jacobs being with the 6th leading rusher in the league. Even though Josh Allen has been really good this year, I think all the MVP talk is a little too premature. I don't think we should start talking about MVP until the midway point in the season, because I think that's where we know who all the good teams are, who the bad teams are, who the contenders are, and who isn't and who is making the playoffs. So I think we should wait a little bit on the MVP talk, but Josh Allen has still been terrific to start the year, so I'm going to take the Bills to beat the Raiders on Sunday. Next game, we have the Indianapolis Colts versus the Chicago Bears. The Bears are off to a 3-0 start, and they just announced that they're going to insert Nick Foles instead of Mitch Trubisky for the starting job, which I think is a good idea. The Bears made a mistake. They drafted Trubisky, and I think it's just time to admit it, and this will be his last season there, and I think they should just let him go after this year. In 2 of the Bears' wins, they had to come back from down double digits against the Lions and the Falcons, so they could easily be at 1-2, and they even almost let the Giants come back and beat them in week 2. I think the Colts are going to go on the road and win this game. Phillip Rivers has been a nice addition. He's not doing anything super great, but he's still pretty good, and the Colts have the number 1 ranked defense in terms of yards allowed, and they're leading the league in takeaways, so I think they can go on the road and get a big win against the Bears. Next game we have is the Los Angeles Chargers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Chargers, every year, it's the same story. They're just decimated with injuries. For this game, they don't have Derwin James, obviously, he's out for the season. Tyrod Taylor's still out with his lung injury. And they just put Chris Harris Jr., their star cornerback, on IR. They don't have Brian Bulaga and Trey Turner on their offensive line, 2 very good linemen that they're going to need. Justin Herbert, probably going to be running for his life on Sunday against the Buccaneers pass rush, Shaquille Barrett and Jason Pierre-Paul. For the Buccaneers, unfortunately for them, they don't have Chris Godwin and they don't have Leonard Fournette. So if the Buccaneers win this game, which I think they will, it won't come as easy as they probably like it to. But I'm still going to pick the Buccaneers. Next game, this could be the game of the week in terms of points scored, the Cleveland Browns and the Dallas Cowboys. Both teams aren't very good on defense, but both have the potential to put up a lot of points on offense. For the 2nd consecutive year, Dallas has the number 1 ranked offense in the league. But I think, unfortunately for them, a lot of that is just those yards accumulated are coming from having to come back from down double digits. Last week they were down 15 against Seattle, and they were down 15 against Atlanta in the fourth quarter. Dak is leading the league in passing yards, but I don't think that's where they should be as a team. I think they need to be a more balanced team, establish the run. That'll help them more in terms of not having to face those deficits and asking your quarterback to bring you back from 15 down or 20 down, whatever it may be. And I think if the Browns want to win this game, they're just going to have to pound the rock. They're the third-ranked rushing attack in the league. Nick Chubb is sixth in rushing. And I think that's just how the Browns are going to win games, even with two stud receivers in Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry. But I think it's going to be a shootout, and I think the Cowboys are going to win just because they're at home, and I think their quarterback will make more big plays when it's needed. He won't make as many mistakes as Baker Mayfield. I think Dak is better than Baker, and I think he'll have a better game than him this weekend. So that's why I'm picking the Cowboys to beat the Browns. Next game, we have Seattle at Miami. This is pretty easy to pick. Russell Wilson, if you want to talk about MVP, he's obviously in the MVP discussion. He just broke Patrick Mahomes' record for touchdown passes in the first 3 weeks of his season. He has 14 touchdowns, only one interception, and that came off of Greg Olsen dropping a pass and it landing in Devin McCourty's hands for a pick six. DK Metcalf has really stepped up in his second year. He's third in receiving yards. And then we obviously know Tyler Lockett and Russell Wilson. Their chemistry is through the roof. So the Seattle Seahawks should get another win and stay undefeated. Next game, we have the Baltimore Ravens and the Washington Football Team, as they're called now. This should be an easy win, Baltimore. Not really much to say here. The Ravens, they didn't play very well last week, so this is a good opportunity for them to bounce back. Good bright side for Washington, they're among the league leaders in sacks, so all the investment they made in their defensive line is obviously starting to pay off. But unfortunately for them, they have the 29th ranked offense in the league, so they just can't put up any points to compete with any teams. Baltimore, they score over 30 points a game, so they should be able to win that. Next game we have is Minnesota and Houston, two teams that are both 0-3. The Vikings, a little bit more unexpected 0-3. Houston, people expected them to struggle, especially with their super difficult schedule to start the year. And then, obviously, them inexplicably trading DeAndre Hopkins to the Cardinals. But, however, I think the Houston Texans are going to get their first win of the year. I think Deshaun Watson can get them this win. The Minnesota Vikings have absolutely no secondary. They let Xavier Rhodes walk, and he seems to be doing pretty well in Indianapolis. The Vikings secondary is just young and inexperienced, so I think this is a chance for Houston's receivers to really break out and get them a win, so I'm going to pick the Texans in this game. The next game we have is the New Orleans Saints at the Detroit Lions. I'm picking the Saints to win this game, even though I think if you're a Saints fan, you have to be just a little bit concerned about this offense until Michael Thomas gets back, because they have Emmanuel Sanders is supposed to be their deep threat, but he hasn't really gotten going so far to start this year. And Drew Brees has turned into a dink and dunk quarterback. A lot of his yards in the Green Bay game came from dump-offs to the receivers. And you know it's like that when their running back, Alvin Kamara, is 5th overall in the league in receiving yards. So they need to figure out a way to make their offense more explosive. Obviously, you can't do that with a quarterback as old as Brees. It's going to have to be a little bit more methodical, but I think they should beat the Lions with or without Michael Thomas. Even though the Lions picked up a big win last week, the Lions just aren't very good, so the Saints should pick up a win against Detroit. Next game we have is Arizona against Carolina. I think this one, it may not be an easy game to predict, but I'm still going to pick the Cardinals just because the Panthers will be without Christian McCaffrey, and the Cardinals offense, despite losing to Detroit, has been super fun to watch since opening the season. DeAndre Hopkins is the league leader in receiving yards, and Kyler Murray has definitely improved from his already stellar rookie year. So I think the Cardinals are off to a good start despite losing last week, and I think they should bounce back against the Panthers. Next game we have is the New York Giants going to LA to face the Los Angeles Rams. This should be another pretty easy game. The Los Angeles Rams should win this. They're coming off a loss against Buffalo, but they were down pretty big. But they were able to come back, but they were they got a costly pass interference call on Buffalo's last drive, which was pretty debatable. After watching the replay on that a bunch of times, I didn't really see anything. I don't know why the officials threw the flag, but they did, and Buffalo scored a last-second touchdown to get the win. So you could make an argument that the Rams should be undefeated right now. They've definitely been one of the more, I guess you could say, surprising teams in the league. After cutting Todd Gurley, people didn't really know what was going to happen with the Rams because of their play-action offense that benefits Jared Goff a lot. But they've been really good to start the year, and I think they should get a win against the Giants. No Saquon Barkley, and the Giants, their defense isn't good, their offense isn't good. Daniel Jones doesn't have any time to throw, so I don't really think there's anything to look forward to this year for Giants fans. Heading into the two primetime games, the Philadelphia Eagles against the San Francisco 49ers. Both of these teams are just rattled with injuries and quarterback inconsistencies. You can make an argument that Carson Wentz has been the worst quarterback in the league this year, and that's pretty hard to say considering what he did last year, carrying that Eagles team to the playoffs. He just hasn't had it this year. And to be fair, once again, he's suffering. He's playing on a team that just can't seem to stay healthy. Dallas Goedert is on IR. Alshon Jeffrey, Deshaun Jackson, Jalen Reagor, his only three receivers are all out. Greg Ward is out for this game. Andre Dillard, Brandon Brooks' O-linemen are out. And for the 49ers, they're without Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm pretty sure they'll be without Raheem Mostert this week. And on their D-line, Solomon Thomas and Nick Bosa both out with ACL tears. But I'm going to go with the Niners to win this game just because they're at home. And there's reason to believe Wentz can get better, but he's really struggling to start this year. He even struggled against the Bengals, and you can argue they're one of the worst teams in the league. So I think the Niners should get a win. It won't be a blowout by any means. It'll probably be close, but I think the 49ers should win that game. Next, or for the final game of the week, we have the Atlanta Falcons against the Green Bay Packers. The Falcons, they should be 2-1 right now, but they just don't know how to close games. They've never known how to close games, it seems, dating back to the Super Bowl against the Patriots when they were, of course, up 28-3, and they lost that. They were up 16 in the fourth quarter last week against Chicago, and once they inserted Nick Foles, the rest was history. They just collapsed in the fourth quarter once again. Meanwhile, for Green Bay, the Packers have looked just insanely good on offense. Aaron Rodgers he didn't even have a bad year last year, but he's looking more like that electric Aaron Rodgers, the gunslinger that we've known for all these years. And the Packers they went to New Orleans last week and scored 37 points without Devontae Adams. So they just look unstoppable right now on offense, and I think they're going to win this game. And those are my picks for this weekend's games. The site I used to predict these games was playoffpredictors.com. So if you want, go check them out, see if you can make some predictions of your own. And if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, share it, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you think of my picks. Thank you for watching.